Welcome back to the Straw Hat Duo. My name's Charlie, and today we're going to be going over One Piece chapter 1056, titled Cross Guild. Little spoiler, Cross Guild is a organization that it seems Buggy is in charge of, but we'll get into that once we get there. So, the front page, cover of the magazine, Shonen Jump, has Luffy center page, eating a bowl of ramen, it looks like, and he's got a bunch of main characters around him. Got Deku, what's his name, from Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, I think it's Yuji. Asta. They've got a bunch of main characters here, kind of covering the front page. Looks like they're dressed up to go to a festival. They're eating festival food. And then we go over to the Uta cover page story. It says, and so another one of Unta's songs came to be, which it's called World's Continuation. She looks like she wakes up from a dream, and it looks like Shanks in the background with a bunch of people running away from him. It's just fire covering the town. Unta goes through, starts digging through trash, and she thinks back to when they were in Fuchsia Village, I think it is. Lucky Roo's there, Shanks is there, and she's just kind of running along behind Shanks. She looks out the window and then pulls out a crumpled up piece of paper that says, when I sing that song, it's a prayer that you come along. I need you to hear it. I need you to believe it. And then she seems to continue it on and says, let's have faith in our trust. I can hold on as long as I must, till again we meet outside a dream. That seems to be another portion of the song. I wouldn't be surprised if these songs are actually in Film Red. Hopefully I get a chance to watch it some point soon. It seems like October it comes out in the States. I'm not sure though. So then we get to the cover page story, which is finally continued. It's the Germa 66's Cold-Blooded Voyage, Volume 15. And Katakuri and Oven springing into action, going against the Germa siblings. They're coming in, guns ablaze and ready to fight. We'll see where that goes from there. Getting right into the chapter, finally. There's a lot of cover stuff going on for probably the next week or so. Well, next week there's a break. So, we get right into the chapter and we see the castle, Flower Capital, after the festivities, and we hear people talking about Raizo and Shinobu. They say that they're so thin, don't die, hang in there. Somebody's like, what terrifying sorcery? And they're talking about General Green Bull. And then we see Raizo and Shinobu, and they're all thin. They look like they're wrapped up like mummies, all except for their face. They are definitely worse for wear. Little spoiler alert, they're fine. So we'll see that a little bit later. There's a little bit of a time skip in this chapter. Then we hear, we're pretty sure it's the Scabbards talking. And they're like, we may find it hard to admit, but that man had a point. Kaido's presence did keep other threats at bay. He was a tremendous deterrent. And then Kinemon comes in, he's like, forgive me, I should not have been all the way in Curry when this all happened. I was completely oblivious. And everybody's just like brushing it off, like, yeah, whatever. Don't sweat it. We were there. We were able to avoid more casualties thanks to Momonosuke's bravery. And somebody asks, so how is Soru's, Kinemon's wife? And it seems that Okobore town itself was burned to the ground by Hold'em, I think it was. Suru suffered a nasty burn to the face. It's not anything life-threatening. She looks to have a bandage over her eye. It's kind of like a half eye patch. And then they say, oh, if it isn't Soru-san, I hear Kin finally came home. Soru's like, yes, but he had to return to the capital. The little old lady talking to Suru says, you hail from the capital yourself. Any plans to move back? And she's like, yeah, I always want to be by his side. And then we see a close-up of Kinemon's face, and he's like, but wow, even after 20 years, Suru is as gorgeous as ever. And the dog Mank, I have terrible time remembering his name. I don't know why. I like him better than the Catmink, which I also can't think of his name at the moment. He's like, enough already, even puppy love isn't this sappy. And then the Catmink starts laughing. Like, I think it's wonderful, Keen-san. And we see Raizo, and he's just like, I wish I were popular. The Catmink's like, yeah, you just focus on your recovery, Raizo. Then Carrot comes in, and she goes, Duke, boss, you summoned me? What's up? And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, you're here, cool. You're gonna be the next ruler of Zou. And she's sitting there she's got like 4 shish kebabs in her hand, and she's just chowing down on them. She's like, me, ruler? Sure, no biggie. And it looks like she's like getting ready to walk away, and then she's like, wait, ruler? No way, I can't possibly take charge of that. Then we see them talking. He's like, yeah, the cat and I have decided to stay in Wano to serve as Kozuki retainer and protect Momonosuke-san. You've grown very dependable after the adventures with Luffy and the others. You've definitely got what it takes to lead the next generation. And then Carrot's like, but some of the others are way stronger than me. And then the three musketeers come in. They're like, true enough, but that's why you could trust us to protect the country for you. And then Wanda comes in. She's like, I'll be by your side too, Carrot. The Dukes chose wisely. Pedro's will lives on more in you than it does anyone else. And then she kind of like thinks back to Pedro, and they say, yeah, we leave Zoe to you youngsters. And then we cut over to a different portion of the castle, or just a different time period. It doesn't specify, but you hear somebody say, you're our grandpa? And Odin's father. I'm terrible with names. I forget names just like that. So, and he's like, yes, Odin was my son. And we see Momo and Hiyori. They're crying, hugging him. And he's like, sorry, I am so sorry. I'm in your debt. You truly are the spitting image of your father, Momo. And he's just like, Grandpa. And then Momo's like, after you losing our parents, it means a lot to find out that we still have family. And Hiyori's like, yeah, right? Please don't apologize. He's like, so I take it the rest of you really did know about me, talking to the Scabbards, which makes me think it was just kind of a jump forward in time a little bit. And they're like, you know, wearing a Tengu mask outside of the festival is odd, so we knew you were no ordinary swordsmith. We didn't think it was our place to expose you. And he's like, yeah, forgive me for putting you in that position. And then we see Kinemon just shocked, like internally shocked. It's like his internal face. He's like, he was Sukiyaki all along? My lord, what a shock. Still, I'm glad he was okay. Sukiyaki is his name. You know, I told you it'd come to me eventually. Anyways, Sukiyaki goes and says, well, there may be some things I can shed light on. That's all an old cogger like me is good for anyways. When that's all done, I implore you to let me live anonymously among the people in this new era you've ushered in. And Kinemon's like, absolutely, just knowing you're alive is a great comfort for us. Kinemon's still just kind of shocked. He's like, this is unbelievable. And then we cut over to the Straw Hats. Frankie's like, what? Pluton's in this country? Robin's like, yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it myself, but there's no mistaking it. And Frankie's like, so it really does exist. Luffy's sitting there like, hey, didn't you torch the blueprints to that thing, Frankie? And they're like, yeah, Pluton is an ancient weapon named after a god. You want it, Luffy? And Luffy's just kind of sitting there stretching. He's like, nah, I'm good. They're like, yeah, I thought you'd say that. But still, I can't help but wonder why Odin would want to unleash it. Somebody comes in with Otama, and she's like, did you say that mature ladies are an alluring ancient weapons? And Frankie's like, who the hell are you? And she's like, that's me, Shinobu. I know I'm nothing but skin and bones after that accident. Sanji's like, goes into his, Sanji persona. He's like, whoa, that's some glow up. Then we see Otama sitting there doing the ninja pose. Oh, nin. She's like, big bro, I'm gonna be Shinobu's apprentice. Think I can get strong enough to join your crew the next time we meet? And Nami's like, you look adorable, Otama. And Luffy's like, yeah, sure, if you keep up on your ninjutsu training. So then we cut to the back corner of the room, the dark corner where, there's obviously somebody listening. We see Swamp Dude that was in Fishman Island kidnapping mermaids that's been, following the Straw Hats around for a little bit. And he's like, no way, Pluton's in Wano? Where's Poseidon? Now there's a certain somebody who'd love to hear about this. I'm guessing it's probably Blackbeard he's talking to. He seems like the kind of person who would be aligned with Blackbeard. Blackbeard or Buggy are the only two people I could think of that he would be aligned with. He's almost definitely not aligned with the Marines, unless it's Arlong situation alliance. It just seems like it'd be one of the Emperors. That just makes the most sense. And considering Luffy, Law, Kid, all of them are there, he's obviously not. I mean, I say obviously, but I'm 90% sure he's not aligned with Shanks, so that leaves Buggy and Blackbeard. So we'll see. That'll be resolved 3 years from now. Who knows? So then we go into a time skip. It's only a few days, but it is a time skip. Everybody's just kind of hanging out, walking around. It looks like everybody's living pretty happily now. Somebody's like, my lord, we've finished the restoration plans for the various villages. The necessary funds have also been calculated. And we see Momo just sitting there kind of lost in thought, walking around. Everybody's like, Shogun-sama. Everybody's bowing to him. And he gets to where Luffy and the others were staying. And he opens up the door and he's, hey, Zoro, can you teach me some sword moves? Huh? Luffy? Zoro? And he notices that there's nobody there. So then he starts running, just running through the castle. He's like, Onami? Usopp? Sanji? Chopper? Robin? Frankie? Onichi? Jinbei? Yamato? Where is everybody? And then he busts into Hiyori's room, and she's just sitting there playing her shamisen. And he's like, Hiyori, have you seen Luffy in the game? And she's like, they all left earlier. You know, everybody came to say goodbye this morning. And little girl's with her. Not Otama, the other one. Yeah, I don't remember her name. Again, terrible with names. Eventually, I'll drive that point home enough so that I'm expecting me to know names. And Momo's like, what? But nobody said anything to me. And Kinemon busts and he's like, Momo! And he's like, Kinemon, the Luffy and the others, they've all left. And Kinemon's like, yeah, I just found out myself. They said their goodbyes to Denjiro and the others. Why leave us out? There's gotta be some sort of a reason. I'm sure there is, but, you know, I'm sure we'll find out. It started downpouring here. I'm not sure if you can hear that or not, but yeah. So then we cut over to the port, Oge Port in Udon, and Straw Hats, Law's crew, and Kid's crew are all getting ready to set sail. They're arguing with each other. Law's like, just pick a different day to leave. Straw Hat, our alliance has run its course. We're rivals again. Luffy's like, no way. We've already decided to set sail today. Kid's like, let's at least, you know, pick different routes if we're all leaving now. You know, the one bickering the least, which is kind of ironic with him being, you know, the most reckless I'd look at. Or most trigger happy, I guess. They all sit there and go, okay, we're all gonna leave. Law's like, I'm going northeast. And Kid and Luffy at the same time go east. And Law's like, yep, guess I'm set. And then he thinks to himself, he's like, yeah, you guys just randomly picked the middle one. How childish. And he's like, the northeast direction is the most direct route. And it shows a little map of the Calm Belt, Wano, and then 3 islands. And northeast one is the farthest forward in the New World. Luffy and Kid are like, what? And he's like, all right, fine. Let's just, you know, draw lots. And Luffy ends up drawing the short straw. So he lost. Usopp's like, who cares? They're all dangerous. Get over here and help us load the cargo, Luffy. Luffy sits there, starts bickering with Kid, and he's like, I'm the Emperor. I should be the best at drawing lots. Kid's like, what was that? You cocky emperors are an eyesore. But the one that pisses me off the most is this guy. And he pulls out a paper, and it shows Buggy. He says, Buggy, the bombastic clown. And the flyer, which looks like it was probably made by some of Buggy's crew. It's got Buggy above, 2 swords crossing with a skull. Buggy's Jolly Roger, it looks, in the center, over the swords crossing. And then on the left side, it says Sir Crocodile. And on the right, Dracul Mihawk. They have an organization called Cross Guild. Guessing it's probably Luffy here. Goes, what in the world? Crocodile and Hawkeye? They're working under Buggy? Zoro looks over. He's like, yeah, I can't imagine Hawkeye doing that. Law's like, you know, if he's capable of commanding men like this, then he's definitely a worthy new emperor. And Luffy's just like all disgruntled back there. And he's like, trust me, he's just a moron. What the heck happened? Kid's like, yeah, whatever it was, it seems this Cross Guild of his is issuing bounties on Marines, which that is a very interesting concept. Bounty hunters were never pursued in the manga. So putting bounties out on Marines kind of reinvigorates the bounty hunter-esque, but more for pirates. That's an interesting concept. But Kid's like, yeah, now those Navy dogs have to watch their backs too. The hunters have become the hunted. And then somebody's like, sounds like the world really has changed while we were in this isolated country. And Kid's like, yeah, if everyone's done whining about their roots, right? Once we leave Wano, it's every man for himself. I don't want to hear any excuses. And Law just kind of tosses Killer a paper. And Kid's like, the hell is this? And Law's like, yeah, it's a copy of the Road Poneglyph. You earned it too. It wouldn't be sporting to keep it from you. And Killer's like, so Kaido did have one. It's like the one that we forced out of that Big Mom commander to hand over, huh? And that's interesting too. I guess Kid's crew invaded Totland at one point. I don't remember that being a case, but that's the only way I could see him getting a copy of the Big Mom's Road Poneglyph, unless Big Mom had access to another one. Because Law and Luffy, well, Luffy has access to 3. Law probably has 3, but only has guaranteed 2. Killer goes on, he starts laughing. He's like, if we stay ahead of the scramble for the One Piece, we got to get serious about that guy. And Kid's like, you want to go after the man marked by flames? But we've got no leads. There's a little translation note here. It says the phrasing here is unique and can imply a burn or a scar shaped like flames. So I have no idea who they're talking about. You know, there's a ton of theories out there. I'm at a loss. I couldn't tell you. You know, I'm not even going to speculate. That'd just be me rambling pointlessly on for minutes on end with no lead. But anyways, Luffy kind of goes, marked by flames? What are you talking about? Then we see Law with kind of shadows over his face, looking very serious. And then we see Robin kind of with a knowing frown on her face. She has a question mark, like she's confused. And then Kid's like, you don't know? I guess we're a step ahead of you. And then Luffy's like, come on, spill it already. Actually, you know, that just made me think of something. Man marked by flames. He's probably the guy who's known to have the last Road Poneglyph. That's the only thing I could think of. That's the only reason I could see why they're like, okay, well, if we want to stay ahead in the scramble, we need to go find this guy. That would be pointless to find the One Piece if he didn't either have translations for the Road Poneglyphs or have one. We'll find that out in the coming months, I'm sure. So then we cut back over to the castle, and Kinemon and Momo are running around. They're like, are you gone too, Yamato? And then from the roof, he goes, not yet, Momo-san. Huh? Are you on the roof like usual? She's like, yeah, I finally made up my mind. I'm about to head over to Luffy and the gang. It's finally time for me to live like Odin did, heroic and free. And that pretty much ends the chapter, showing her just with a big smile on her face. This is a big chapter. Definitely the end of Wano here. I'm guessing Momo and Kinemon are going to follow Yamato and say bye to Luffy and the others at that point. And that'll pretty much be the resolution of that. I don't think we'll see Momo or Kinemon after maybe next chapter. After that, I don't see them being in the story for quite a while longer. You know, I enjoyed this chapter. I'm very curious on a lot of things that this chapter set up. I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. And they're finally using the New World log pose, so that's cool. That does it for this video. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know who you think the man marked in flames is, or if we know him yet, or if we've met him, or why they're looking for him, if you have any theories on that. That's it for this chapter. There's a break next week. See you in 2 weeks for chapter 1057. Bye.